welcome to Wagner Farms. I'm Laura Ratz. I'm the 5th generation dairy farmer. So our farm is a 5th generation family farm, and we're so glad you could join us today. So our farm is all about people, animals, and environment. And so at our farm we have 14 employees. All of those people are a part of our team, and each person has a different responsibility at our farm. And our animals are also a really important part of our farm. I get to take care of all of our animals here at the farm, so I'll be able to take you on a tour in a little bit to be able to show you what happens from the birth of a baby calf all the way up until she's a big cow. So you'll be able to get a little bit of touch of that. And then also our environment. Environment is a really important part of agriculture. And so we really try to do the best to our ability to be able to take really good care of our farm and our environment. And taking care of the environment involves taking care of crops, and all of our crops are fed to our cows. So we have the highest quality of feeds that are getting fed to our animals, and all of that happens right here at Wagner Farms. So you'll be able to come check it out with me. This is our maternity area. So just like human moms, when they're ready to have a baby, they go to the maternity level at the hospital. So when our moms, our cow moms, start to get ready to have a baby, they come into an individual maternity pen, and all pens are cleaned and sanitized after each use, and then they get fresh bedding, and then there's also a soft rubber pad that's underneath, so we want to make sure our moms are really comfortable at the time of having their baby. So then our moms come into these pens, and when cows want to have a baby, or when the cows start to have a baby, they want to be alone. They don't want to be bothered by any of the other cows. So they feel more comfortable when they come into a maternity pen by themselves, where they can focus on having their baby. So then moms will come in here and we'll monitor them. We have a camera system that monitors the moms while they're having their baby to make sure that they don't need any assistance, that the moms are comfortable, that they're happy, and that the birthing process is going okay. So during that time, we monitor those moms, and then after the moms have their baby, we'll also milk those moms, and then they have colostrum, which is the first milking after a mom cow has a baby. So then the mom cow will get milked about an hour or so after she has her baby, and then an hour or so after she has her baby, the baby will get transitioned and moved into our nursery department. This is our hospital parlor, and this is located right next to our maternity area. So after our mom cows have their baby, they'll come in here to get milked, and their colostrum, which is that first milking, will get collected here, and we'll save that for our baby calves. Also, those moms, after they have their baby, they'll stay in and get milked in our hospital parlor at least 5 to 8 days after they have that baby. This hospital parlor is separate from our main milking parlor, so this area is also for all of our other cows that need special attention. So just like there's an ICU department at a hospital, we have our own ICU or special attention parlor area that's designated just for cows that really need some special attention. And as you can see, this area is also for our very needy cats, and it's not a farm without cats. So we have lots of little kitties that feel like they need special attention too. This is also, his name is Whiskers. And then we have Elvin. Elvin always makes his debut during any tour at our farm. Now we're going to be entering into this is what we call our calf kitchen. So this is a kitchen area, or a room designed just for our baby calves, and also for our hospital area. So when our hospital cows get milked, all the milk, just like in our main parlor, goes into a smaller tank that holds all the milk from our special needs cows or all of our moms. All of their milk gets stored right into our milk tank. and then this milk is used to feed our baby calves. So then after every feeding, we put enough milk in to feed all of our baby calves, and all of that milk goes and gets placed right into our milk taxi. So as you can see, there's really fresh, high quality milk for our baby calves to eat. So then in our milk taxi, all of the milk that's in here will get pasteurized, so it kills out any of the bad bacteria and make sure that we have a really good ending product of milk to be able to feed to our baby calves. So then this also drives right out that you can push and be able to feed the exact amount of milk that each baby calf needs to drink at each feeding. So this is what we call our milk taxi. Then we also have, this is called our colostrum pasteurizer. So like I said before, our baby calves, whenever they're born, they get fed high quality pasteurized colostrum for those baby calves. So then it's pasteurized in little green crates, which holds about 1 gallon of really good colostrum. So after it gets pasteurized, or before it gets pasteurized, when we start the pasteurization process, our milk, or this colostrum, gets placed into one of these containers. So there's a little plastic bag that's inside the container, and then the colostrum gets placed into here, and then the colostrum will get placed into our colostrum pasteurizer. So we'll put it right into our colostrum pasteurizer, and there's different slots in our colostrum pasteurizer where one of these green containers will get placed in, and then the colostrum will pasteurize in here, and it'll cycle around and kill any of the bad bacteria that's in that colostrum, so that we're feeding our babies really good colostrum. So then after that colostrum is pasteurized, that colostrum will go into our freezer, and it'll go into our freezer where our colostrum will be stored for a certain amount of time, and then when our babies are ready to be fed, all our milkers or whoever feeds the baby calves can grab a container out, and then they'll thaw that out before the babies are fed. But in colostrum, so when baby calves are born with no immunity to bacteria. So any bacteria that gets in their mouth or their stomachs aren't used to that, so they don't have anything to fight against any bad bacteria that they come in contact with. So giving baby calves, colostrum, which is that first milking from their mom, it's full of really high quality, good nutrients to be able to help that baby calf and protect them from any bad bacteria that it comes in contact with. So giving that baby calf and starting them off with the highest quality of colostrum is really important to start out with really strong, healthy baby calves. So we do that right here at Wagner Farms for all of our baby calves. And also in our calf kitchen, just like in your mom's kitchen, all of our utensils, our buckets, anything that we use for baby calves or in our hospital parlor, everything is cleaned and sanitized here every single day. So we want to eliminate any bad bacteria that can come in contact with our baby calves so that they're really happy and healthy. So we wash and clean all of our buckets. Pretty much anything that touches a baby calf will get cleaned every single day to make sure that we're giving them the best start possible at Wagner Farms. This is where our little babies come at about an hour after they're born. We like to call this our nursery. And so our little babies come in here, and then a little while after they're born, whether it's the next day or two, they'll get some identification, which they get little ear tags get put in their ear. So just like human babies when they're born, human babies get a birth certificate. Well, our little babies also get a birth certificate. So in order for them to have a birth certificate, they have to have little identification numbers so we know which birth certificate goes with which baby. So then we can track all of her records, just like when you go to the doctor, all of your records get tracked. And same goes for all of our little babies here. So we want to make sure that we track everything from their birth weights to any other information that gets entered into the computer. We want to track all of that so that we know what happens to every single baby on our farm. So then after they go from our nursery, then they'll graduate and go into our elementary school facility where they get housed with their buddies. Oh, here is where the baby calves, they'll stay, they'll get paired with a buddy right at birth, and then they'll stay with their buddy in their room, which we call a super hutch. They'll stay with their buddy up until 3 months of age, and then during that time, the baby calves, they get fed pasteurized milk 3 times a day, and that pasteurized milk comes right from the moms here on the farm. And then they'll also get fed water after every feeding. And then the baby calves during that time, if they're still hungry, they have an option to eat starter, which this is what starter looks like. Starter is little pellets of corn and oats and different nutrients for the babies to eat. So they have an all-you-can-eat buffet of starter all day long that they can eat, and gets refilled with fresh feed every single day. And then they sleep with their buddy in their rooms. They have nice, clean bedding. So just like your mom changes your sheets every day, we give them fresh bedding for them to sleep on 3 times during the week. So they have that option to lay down on clean bedding and enjoy their suite with their buddy. Also during the winter months when it gets really cold, all the babies will receive a jacket. We want to make sure all of our babies stay nice and warm. So just like you, when you go to school, your mom sends you off with a nice jacket, a winter coat, some hat, mittens. We want to make sure our babies are treated the same way. So each baby gets to have a jacket put on, and then they'll stay with that jacket until they're a little bit older, and then they can produce enough body heat themselves to stay warm. Just like the little babies, human babies, they get weaned off of their mother's milk eventually. So our calves are the same way. The older they get, they'll gradually get weaned off of milk, and then they'll just have starter and water to drink. And then during that time, they'll get introduced to that feed and eat that more than they would drink milk. And then they'll transition going up to our calf barn, which we like to call this area elementary school. And then once you move from elementary school, you get to graduate to middle school and high school. So once they turn about 3 months of age, the buddy and the calves, they'll move up to our calf barn, which we call middle school. Now we're walking up to our Wagner Farms, and this is our middle school, and then they transition into high school at the same time up here. So we have our baby calves that come up with their buddy at 3 months of age, and then they'll come up and get put into their own group of pen with 8, and each group at the beginning is 8 baby calves. So then those 8 baby calves will stay together in their pen, and they'll get transitioned down, and then they'll get moved into bigger groups of calves, which then we like to call high school. So up here at our calf barn, our calves get hay, so they get a fresh, nice, dry, tender hay. Baby calves aren't really used to any forage yet, so they get a nice tender hay to start out eating, and then they also still get some grain, just like they did down in the calf hutches. So we want calves, when they transition into middle school or into our calf barn, to have the least amount of stress as possible. So they still have the option of fresh water all day long. They still have the grain that they get in the calf hutches. they're still with their buddy. So we want to make sure that those calves stay really comfortable and least amount of stress as possible when they move into middle school. So then they'll transition down in our calf barn, and they'll move farther down in our group. And then as you go down towards the end of our calf barn, their groups of calves get bigger. And then that's what we call high school. So they still get the same feed as they go down, but once they move into high school, then they get a different feed. So when they go into high school, we add a little bit extra ingredients in to help them grow strong and healthy as they get bigger as a calf. So then, as our calves get older at about 5 months of age, then those calves will actually graduate from high school. So they'll graduate from high school at Wagner Farms, and then they'll move to college. So just like your brother or sister or cousin who graduated high school and went off to college, so do our calves here at Wagner Farms. So our calves, they'll graduate from high school and they'll go off to college. But college for calves here at Wagner Farms is not anywhere close by. College for calves here at Wagner Farms is actually in Oshkosh, Nebraska. So our calves, they'll go on to a semi or a big bus with all their other friends here at Wagner Farms, and they'll go on that bus and they'll travel on their bus out to college in Oshkosh, Nebraska. So once they get out to Oshkosh, Nebraska, they go into a nice sandy, dry lot for them to sleep and lay with their friends. They also get the option of fresh drinking water, all-you-can-eat buffet. So our calves, even when they go to college, they're still really happy, healthy, and strong, even when they go off to college. Farm office. So in our farm office, we have all of our files and documents that are stored, just like pretty much you'd have at a principal's office. We also have our main computer. Our main computer holds all of our birth certificates, or our cow cards, we like to call them. So any information that one cow has will all be held on our own cow card. So all of our cows' information and data is all collected into our computer. Then we have a camera system that helps monitor different areas in our farm, helps for different training, and make sure that we just have a little bit better communication and know of things that are going on our farm. We also have our cooler that's in our office. So in our cooler, we have different things that are stored. This is where our first colostrum, so the first milking of a mom cow, and her second milking of a mom cow is all placed into our cooler. It'll stay in our cooler for a day, and then the next day, all of that colostrum will be pasteurized. So it kills any bad bacteria that's in the mom's milk. And then that colostrum, 1 gallon of fresh pasteurized colostrum, will be fed to our new babies. And then we have our pictures. So this first picture, the gray picture that's in black and white, that's when our farm first started. Our farm was founded in 1896. So that first picture was when our farm first started, and then our farm gradually changed. So I am the 5th generation of our farm. So as each generation came along, other changes were made, and we became more efficient with what we do at the farm and became better at what we do, not only to take care of our people, our animals, but also our environment. So you can see on the last picture that we have is one of our most recent ones, where we also had the opportunity to host our breakfast on the farm. So you can also see we had all kinds of, we opened our farm up to the public. So you see all the vehicles, and we had opportunity to give tours and have breakfast right on our farm. And that's our most updated picture of our farm. Welcome to our employee break room. So this is where we have our employee meetings, we have our team meetings, and then this is also where our employees have the opportunity to have their lunch breaks and their dinner meals at night. We want to make sure that not only are we taking really good care of our animals and our environment, but people are one of the most valuable things on this planet and at our farm. People are what make our farm successful, so we want to make sure that we take really good care of our employees and give them a really nice place to have their meals and take a break after their hard work through the day. So they have an option to make their meals here. They have an option of fresh coffee. We have soda stocked up for them in the fridge. They can relax on the couch. And then we have some pretty awesome pictures that were taken right here on our farm of our animals, our people, and that is our family here at Wagner Farms. From left to right, we got my brother Sean, his wife Crystal, their son Jackson, and then they also have a little girl Brinley, my dad Hank, my mom Pam, myself, and my husband Tyler. So you can see we have a really awesome facility, not only for our animals, but also for our people here at Wagner Farms. Now we're going to be walking into our main parlor. So this is where all of our cows get milked 3 times a day. So in our main parlor, we have one person that milks the cows, and then we also have another person that will be working in all of the pens. So they'll bring a group of cows in to get milked, and then they'll make sure they scrape and clean all of those pens every time they get brought into the parlor. So this is a very strategic procedure. We want to make sure that we're doing the best job possible so that we're collecting some of the highest quality milk. We want to make sure our cows are clean, and that when our milk is being produced, that we're collecting some really good, high quality milk for the consumer to drink. So during this time at Wagner Farms, we produce enough milk to give over 120,000 people 1 glass of milk every single day. And our employees do a phenomenal job at producing some of that high quality milk. So you can see here, what's attached to the cow is called a milking unit. So each teat gets one tube that's connected to it, and that takes the milk out of the cow. So when somebody asks you where your milk comes from, your milk does not come from the grocery store. It doesn't come from your refrigerator. It doesn't come from some magical appearance as your mom walks in the door from getting it from her car. Milk comes straight from a dairy cow, or there's other different types of dairy cows. So you can see that the milk gets collected into that canister, and then that milk gets brought into a pipe and gets put into a very large bulk tank. So you can see the collection pipes will be brought right down into our bulk tank. This is called a bulk tank. When our milk comes through the pipes and before it even reaches into the storage tanks, our milk goes through what we call, this is called a plate cooler. So the whole point of having a plate cooler is for the milk to be cooled down at a very fast rate so that we're still storing really high quality milk. So it runs through the plate cooler and gets cooled down by the water. And cold water will cool that milk down, and then the milk will be transported and put right into our bulk tanks. And one bulk tank can hold about 6,000 gallons of high quality fresh milk straight from the cow. And here at Wagner Farms, we're really try to focus on taking good care of our animals, our people, and our environment. But we want to make sure that we're producing some of the highest quality milk so that we have some happy consumers that drink really good fresh milk. And with that, we just received an award from our milk processing plant, which is Land O'Lakes, for producing high quality milk. So we do try to do the best job possible to make sure that we're getting high quality milk from farm to consumer. So it's nice and extra loud in here, but all of our equipment to make our parlor run is held in here. So some of them, we have 2 of them, just in case. So if one breaks down, we always have a backup for the other one. So our parlor runs almost 24 hours a day. So we have lots of equipment to make sure that our parlor runs and that we're collecting that milk from the cows. So it takes a lot to make sure that our parlor runs properly. We have all the equipment needed to make that possible. This is our maternity area for our first-time moms. So just like we have a maternity area for our older cows, we have a separate area just for first-time moms. And the reason for that is our first-time moms have never had a baby before, and they get a little bit more nervous when they're with bigger cows, because just like when you go into high school or get in with the bigger kids, sometimes you get some bullies that like to push you around. Well, older cows are just like that. So we want to make sure that we individualize our first-time moms so that they stay happy, healthy, that they don't get pushed around by the bigger cows, and that they're comfortable. And as you can see, they're all enjoying themselves before they're ready to have a baby. So they have an opportunity to lay down in their sandy beach, just like the old moms. They'll lay here and they'll stay in their vacation resort for 2 months before they have their baby. And then when they have their baby, just like the older moms, they'll come into our maternity area. They have nice fresh bedding that's clean and sanitized after every baby that's born in here. And then after our first-time moms have their baby, instead of bringing them all the way back to the hospital parlor and adding extra stress for them, we'll bring them into our main parlor, so then they get used to getting milked for the first time. And by having them placed right here next to our main parlor, they get used to the sounds and the different noises that they'll hear in the main parlor. So they become very comfortable, and there's the least amount of stress on our first-time moms. Welcome to Wagner Farms shop. This is where my brother Sean does all of our machinery and our maintenance. So he fixes all the tractors, the skid steers, anything that needs to be fixed. Sean does all that on our farm. So we have the tools, the oil, different things that he uses to be able to fix all of our machinery and do his maintenance. Also, in our shop, we also have other opportunities outside of the farm. So we get to play basketball. I'm a big basketball fan, so we get to shoot around on our off time. We also host employee parties in here. So we have Christmas parties for our whole team here at Wagner Farms, and we play a bunch of games and different activities and cook big meals. We also cook big meals for other teams or other people that are involved in our farm. Our people that haul our manure, that plant corn, anything that we want to do outside the farm, this is always a great opportunity to be able to use it. This is our washroom. In our washroom is where we wash all of our machinery, all of our calf hutches, where the babies stay. They get washed after all of our calves leave the hutches. They'll all get sanitized and washed. We want to make sure we take really good care of all of our equipment so that it lasts a long time. So all of our equipment will get washed at least once a week, get soaked, clean the windows, almost like we're taking all of our equipment through a car wash once a week, just to make sure that it stays nice and clean and we take really good care of things, because I'm sure you hear it at home, the better you take care of your toys, the longer it lasts. And the same thing goes here at Wagner Farms. The better we take care of all things at Wagner Farms, the longer it'll last. Now we're going to be entering into our dry cow barn. So our dry cow barn is actually where all of our moms that are ready to have their baby are going to stay. So our moms come to our dry cow barn 2 months before they're ready to have their baby. And when they come to the dry cow barn, they have a vacation for 2 months. During their vacation, they get an all-you-can-eat buffet, they get to lay on the sandy beach, and that's where we like to call is where they like to sleep. And it's all fresh, soft sand. So all of our moms, they rest on the beach, they have an all-you-can-eat buffet, and enjoy their time before they're ready to have their baby. So all of our moms, they get to sleep with all their friends all day long and take it real nice and easy. So when a mom gets ready to have her baby, she doesn't produce milk. The closer she gets to having her baby, we like to say that she dries off, which then she doesn't produce milk, so that she actually is taking a complete vacation. She's not producing any milk, she's eating high quality food, she's resting all day long, and then the closer she gets to having her baby, she starts to produce milk. And then when she produces milk, she's getting ready to produce that first milk, which is called the colostrum. So during this time, all of our moms, they get to eat high quality feed, so they get all the right nutrients and proteins and minerals that are required to grow strong, healthy cows. They'll get all of that feed, and they get this option all day long. So it's like our mom cows and pretty much all cows on our farm are staying at the Wagner Farms resort, all-inclusive resort. She really likes it. During this time in the barn, we monitor all of our moms just to make sure that everybody is staying happy, healthy, and strong here at Wagner Farms. Now you've entered into the main milking barn where all the milking cows sleep. But same as our dry cow barn, they still sleep on a nice sandy beach. They get all-you-can-eat buffet of some of the highest quality feed, and they get all-you-can-drink fresh water. So even our milking cows still stay at Wagner Farms all-inclusive resort. But on this side of the barn, in this first pen here, this is where all of our moms that have had a baby recently, within like the last 30 days. So all of our moms, these are all of our older cows that have had a baby. They come into this pen after they transition and leave from our hospital parlor. So they'll come into this pen, and I will walk them almost every single day, a couple times a day, just to monitor our moms, because after having a baby, just like human moms, it's a stressful time period and it's hard on their body. So we want to make sure that our moms are staying healthy, strong, happy, and so I walk through this group every day and go in between all of the cows just to make sure that those cows are staying happy and healthy. But then also our first time moms, they also get their own group. And like I said before, the first time moms, they're a little bit smaller cows. We don't want them to get bullied by the older moms because they'll push them around just to get up to the feed bunk or to get somewhere to lay down. So we want to make sure that our first time moms are just as happy and comfortable as our older moms are. And so then with that, we give them their own group until they're ready to move on to a bigger group. So as you can see, these guys still get some incredible feed to eat. Haylage, corn silage, you name it. They get the highest of quality feeds with high protein and nutrients to make sure that we're having happy, strong, healthy cows here at Wagner Farms. But you can see that this group has a different feed. So at Wagner Farms, we have a nutritionist that comes in every single week. They test all of our different feeds that we have, and then they put a meal together. So like a meal plan for each group. Each group gets a different meal. So they put together a special ration, is what we call it, but a special meal for each group so that each group of cows gets the right protein and nutrients and minerals and vitamins and all that is required of that group to make sure that they stay strong, happy, and healthy. We have what we call is a feed pusher. So we want to make sure that when a cow eats, she creates what we call a feed pocket. So as you can see over here, this mama cow was enjoying her delicious meal, but she creates a feed pocket and starts to sort through her meal. And as she sorts through her meal, they start to push the feed farther away. And then they have a hard time reaching some of their feed. So we have a feed pusher that at least every 30 minutes, if not less than that, somebody goes through and pushes all of the feed back up close to the cows. So we want to make sure that, like I said, they have an all-you-can-eat buffet all day long, all night long, and then until the next morning, until they get another fresh meal. So at our farm, we have 7 different milking groups. And in each milking group, they still have the option to lay in the nice sandy beach where each cow gets their own bed and they can lay wherever they want, they can sleep whenever they want. And you can see a lot of our beds are empty right now in this group because all of our cows in this group just came back from getting milked. So a lot of times when they get milked, they produce a little bit of energy and they want to come back and fill their tummies before they get to go to sleep again. So most of the cows are up eating right now, eating their all-you-can-eat buffet. So they still, in every single group, they still have the option to lay down in this nice, soft sand bedding. They have the option to drink nice, clean, fresh water whenever they want. And then they can also go up to the all-you-can-eat buffet where they get the best high-quality food that they could possibly get here at Wagner Farms. So they have that option to do that all the time. And you've heard me say it many times, but it's like they're staying at an all-inclusive resort here at Wagner Farms. Now you're entering into what we call is our commodity shed. And in our commodity shed, it's kind of like our kitchen. So in your kitchen at home, your mom or your dad or brother or sister, they cook your meals. And then a lot of times when they're baking, they'll put it into all the different ingredients into a bowl, and then they'll mix all those ingredients up and they'll either put it in the oven or they'll serve it right away. Well, the same thing happens right here in our commodity shed. So our feeder every morning grabs different nutrients, different ingredients, and then all of those ingredients will be scooped up in a big bucket, and then they'll be put into our mixer. So this big red bowl that you see, that's what we call our mixer. And this mixes all the different ingredients So like I said before, our nutritionist plans a specific meal for each group of milking cows. So in order to mix up that huge meal, we put all of our different ingredients that are for each group of milking cows, and we'll put it right into our big mixing bowl. And then there's different mixers that are inside that big bowl, and they'll get all mixed up, and there's certain timing, and it'll be mixed for a certain amount of time. And then the tractor will pull that trailer and that big mixer bowl, and they'll pull it into the barn, and then it'll get placed right in front of the cows where you saw me before in our milking barns, so that they have the option of that all-you-can-eat buffet all day long. So we have different, we call them bays, which are different little areas where all of our different nutrients are held. So cows are actually one of the best recyclers that are on this planet, because cows eat what humans don't eat. So you have different ingredients of things that cows eat that we can't. So you have corn, so whatever's left over of the corn cows eat, that's sometimes made for oils or different beers. There's wheat, the same thing. We have straw that's stored on the end of the barn. That's another ingredient that's what's left over after you take wheat off, that's made for bread, or also different beers or different ingredients. And then there's also soybean meal, which is also taken out from different oils and different things. And sometimes we get fed cottonseed, which is the seed that's left over after you take the cotton away. Sometimes we're feed the leftover ingredients from candy, sweet tarts, or different things that also act as a different source of energy for our cows. So cows are really good recyclers. They eat all the different ingredients that are left over. Now we're entering into our feed storage area. So these cement walls here, this is what we call bunkers. So all of our feed is stored. We have one bunker holds about 3,000 to 5,000 tons of feed. So cows really eat a lot of feed. In this bunker, we're almost done with it. So now we're going to be moving into a new bunker. And when we put feed into a bunker, so we have somebody that goes out and harvests the feed off the field, cuts it off the field, and puts it into big truckloads. And then the truckloads come and dump the feed into our bunker, and they'll push it up into a really nice pile. And then we have the tractors, they drive over the top of it. And we call those pack tractors. And they drive over the top of it to get any of the air pockets out of the feed. So we want to make sure that any air pocket that's underneath or in the feed, that we get all of that air out so that we have high quality feed. Otherwise, that feed can mold or rot, and then we waste all of that high quality feed that we had to feed our cows. So we want to make sure that they're getting the best option possible. So the tractor drives over the top of it, and then we put a clear plastic, when it's all packed and nice and tight, we put a clear plastic over the top of it to protect that feed, and then all act as a barrier, and then we put another piece of thicker plastic on the top. And we have white on the top so it reflects the sun, and then doesn't allow our feed to get heated at all. And then also we put the tires, these nice big heavy tires, we place on top of the plastic to make sure we hold that plastic down nice and tight, that it doesn't blow up or let any air or water or moisture get on our feed. And so as you can see, this is a new bunker that was just opened up. So we have some really nice high quality, this is called corn silage. And corn silage is the entire stalk of corn that gets chopped up into nice little small pieces for the cows to be able to eat and digest. And it gets chopped up into nice pieces and then gets placed into our bunkers so that we're able to feed some of the highest quality feed to our animals. That wraps up our tour. Thank you for visiting us here at Wagner Farms.